Hi everybody, I'm Terry Ann. I'm coming on today with my student and friend now, Ann. We met, we're going to talk about how we met. We're going to do a little bit of Reiki, and then we're going to send some energy healing to everybody that's with us today. So, Ann, why don't you tell us how it came to be that you ran across me?
I came across Terry by going through my phone book, or not my phone book, my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching a group, and just something came on YouTube, and you came across it out of the blue air. Like, I don't even know how to say it. It just came that I was scrolling, and then you guys came on the YouTube. And then I just watched a little video of you guys, and it was just like I just knew you were the person I was supposed to get a hold of that
Right.
helped me to expand my teachings and coming out to being who I'm supposed to be too. And
Right.
that's how I found you.
I just love that. So that's what we talk a lot about on here is how these synchronicities show up, and maybe somebody else would have just been like, oh, I don't want to see that, but not pay attention to it. But you were able to intuit that as like, oh, hey, I need to watch this, and then there's something about it.
Yeah, because it just popped up. There was no, I didn't come looking for you. There was no reason why it should have came up at that time, but that it did on the YouTube. And it was just one of those things through Facebook that it brought me, and I was like, what? And so I just tapped on it, and it was just that knowing feeling of that's who I'm supposed to get a hold of. And when I did, I looked it up, and you could get me in the next day. So I thought that was kind of cool too. So yeah, so it all.
So that's awesome. That's what we talk about a lot. Is paying attention to those signs. And we were just sitting here setting up the camera and the video, and it took a picture. So we were laughing because we know that that's Anthony, and he wants us to get going with this and get a move on. So tell us about a little bit about that. Anthony had passed about 18 months ago now, 19 months, and Ann had come to see me. And I don't believe in coincidences. So I was like, okay. And so we talked about Aunt a little bit, and you ordered my book, and she started reading the book, and Anthony then started coming to her. And so that seems like a common thread for people that read his book is that he starts having conversations or coming to them in various different ways. Even people that are not spiritually open, I've had contact me and say, hey, this is happening. I think it's a little weird, but, can you explain it? But you were open.
I was open. I was open. The only thing that was to me is I didn't realize that reading the book, I could bring in a spirit from a book, from a hard book, so that was pretty amazing because as I'm reading, like I told you, and you're writing about your hardship of losing your son, and then I have this person coming to me saying, oh, you're going to work with my mom. I'm so glad you know my mom, whatever. Now I want you to get a hold of my mom and tell her that I'm here. And when you read that, you're like, no, because this lady just lost her son. She's talking about the pain she went through. And now you want me to get on there and say, hey, I heard from your son. I said, I did not want to do it. But every day I got that push. Like, why haven't you reached out to my mom yet? Why haven't you? And it was just that nagging that finally I couldn't handle it anymore because I couldn't even get through the day. Right. Because I just got that nagging, like, what are you waiting for? Let's go. Like, let's go. And so that's when I sat down and I did my little email to you, like, okay, I'm so sorry for this, but this is what's happening. And so it was refreshing when I got the reply back from you that said, no, that's him. So it made me feel really good.
Yeah, it wasn't a shock to me at all. And even writing the book, I talk about that, how I didn't want to write the book. I did not, there was no way I was going to write this book. And he kept nagging at me too, you need to write this book, you need to write this book. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But that's who he is. And so that for me is also confirmation. I asked him, of course, but that is also confirmation as, that's who he is.
Oh, that's totally who he is, yeah.
I always say to people, like, if you are connecting with spirit and you hear, see, feel something, like we're all intuitive. So every client I've had has come in and been able to say to me, I've either felt my loved one or I saw a spark or I just knew they were there. So there's just these things that happen to them and they just shrug it off as if
Right.
It's not real.
Right.
I must just be imagining this.
Right.
And so through his book, I think he's able to then create that connection with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so people who may not have been really open to it
Mm-hmm.
now have a connection with him. So they say, oh, I can have this connection with him, so I can have this connection with my loved one.
Very true. Very true.
And so for him, writing that
Yep.
book was about very much having people learn that they have that ability to connect as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about Reiki today. So Reiki also helps open that pathway, right?
Yes, I love Reiki.
Reiki is a very old modality, and it was started a long time ago. There's various forms of Reiki now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm attuned to Usui Reiki, Karuna Reiki, and Light Therian Reiki, but all higher bands of Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk about a little how you got started in Reiki? Was that also divinely guided?
That was. It was. I had my salon out in California, and I just slowly had women coming in, getting their services done with me, and then they would be talking about this Reiki thing. And then it was just like, but once they said the word Reiki, it was like a little light bulb went off in my head. Like, okay, what is this? And it wasn't just like one person. I mean, it felt like every day I was getting somebody that was saying something about this Reiki. And then when I looked into it, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So I went and had it done. And then when I had my first Reiki session done, that's where I think where everything really opened up for me. I started channeling more, which I already knew I had that, but I pushed it away. But it just brought everything right back. And
yeah, it enhances it.
Yeah, and it just, but in a good way. And the next thing I know, I'm signing up for a beginner's class. And then I'm signing up for the next class. And then next thing you know, I'm getting a certificate in being a master Reiki. So it's a beautiful thing. And I love Reiki. I think everybody needs it.
Yes.
It's the best massage without getting a massage.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, healing, it clears, it aligns. After a Reiki session, you feel very peaceful, very relaxed. And people don't understand, how could you be not touching me? And I feel like as if I've had a massage for an hour, and I feel all of these things. So that's what Reiki is. And I think part of that for us talking about it today, we're talking about Reiki too, also because that helps to further open you. We want to trust the guidance that you're getting, first of all. Your guides will never steer you wrong.
Nope.
They'll never tell you to do horrible things. They're always there. Your higher self is always there trying to get you to this spot. So like Anne was saying, she had heard Reiki numerous times that day. So what is it about Reiki that I need to know?
Right.
And so paying attention to those signs is something that's very important.
That little seed that somebody plants in you, that little word, and once you get that little aha, or you notice that you kind of take a moment to go, to think about it, that's when I think our intuition is telling us to look a little bit more into whatever just came to us. Because when my intuition comes, or my higher self is speaking to me, it's a very more of a quieter, gentler, as when I know Anne is coming in, it's louder, and that's how I can tell the difference.
And they speak differently. They'll
and
say, you need to go
Yes.
here, or you
Yes.
need to do this. They won't say you'll say, if you're talking to yourself,
that's
you say
true.
I look horrible today.
That is true. There is no I.
Yes. So they would never
Yeah.
say you look horrible today. That's the I. And so
Yeah.
I find when I talk to clients that your guides or your higher self will speak differently to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. But I think what was so nice and with Terry Ann, and I told her, is that when your son comes to me, he has been the spirit guide that I've been needing, because he will jokingly tell me I need to get off my butt, but he really does mean get off my butt and start working, get out there, get out of my comfort zone. And I needed that. I needed that person to give me that little extra push.
Right.
And that's what Anthony's been for me. So I just...
And he said that.
Yeah.
Do you think this was by coincidence? Do you think this just happened, that you just ran into my mom?
Oh, he did tell me that, yes. Oh oh my gosh, like, yes, and he did. Because I was just, yeah, and so that just tells you it all just comes together.
Yes.
There's a reason why we were brought together, and then because without you, there wouldn't be with Anthony, and I think it's all tying in together. It's
yes, and when you look
tying
back
in,
at
it's
it,
beautiful.
you can see how it falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in the beginning, you're like, oh, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
how is any of this possible? And I always say, like, I'm just, every day, we were talking about it earlier, I'm just mind blown as to what has been occurring, because we're in such a beautiful time, and so many people have expanded their intuition, and things are changing, and we're up leveling and shifting and seeing things from a different perspective, that higher perspective that he was talking about. And so Reiki is one of those things. If you want to learn more about Reiki, and we teach Reiki. You teach Reiki? So we teach Reiki. But even if you just do, I love teaching Reiki 1 because I think it empowers people to really look inward and to go for that self-healing, that 21 days. And people are like, oh, I can't do that. Well, you're going to need to do it if you want to go forward, and take the time to do it. And I think that first 21 days for them is really empowering. And they're like, what's happening? Like, how can I do this?
Yeah.
Like, their limited mindset that they were thinking from, or like, how is any of this possible?
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think when I first started out, I think level 1 at the beginning of Reiki, that was very, very powerful. And not so much level 2, but then level 3, it like all came together, and it was another powerful experience. But level 1, yeah, that's where I really got a lot. There was, I mean, great energy. You got the highs, and then you get the really lows with it. And then, but it was a low that made you just really make you stop and think, why am I getting the lows? And so you start questioning yourself. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to start questioning ourselves of what we need.
Right.
And then once you get those answers by answering yourself, it just starts, the momentum starts going again. And so I loved Reiki 1.
Yeah.
I really did. I think that was my favorite. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, and it seems to be very, like you said, hills and valleys.
Yeah.
And when you're down, and you're like, why do I have to look at this? I don't want to look at this. But then it brings some sort of awareness to it for you. So, like, why am I feeling this? Why is this person stirring up these emotions in me?
Yeah.
What is it about them that it's in me?
Yeah.
And so it's like creating that mirror for you.
Yeah.
But it also helps you realign your chakras. So if your chakras are out of balance, and we talk about the energy bodies, it helps to realign those things.
Yep.
And when all of your chakras are aligned, you feel better.
Yeah, you do. Yep. Because it's just like me. When I feel like I am, like, things are not going good, and I just feel like I'm in a tornado, and I really have to, and if I look at myself and just stop and look, why do I feel? It's usually because I haven't been eating good. I'm just not taking care of myself, not getting the good sleep, not eating right. And then when you're not in line, and when I say that, there's something truly strong about saying body, mind, and spirit. Because if they are not all together, it's like a tornado. And it's just things just don't flow like they should. Right. And then when I feel like I am in the flow, that is when I know I'm treating my body the way I should be. I'm meditating when I should be. I'm doing the cleansing and reikiing myself. And and then I just come into flow, and then it just seems like everything around me also comes into flow too. So yeah.
Isn't that amazing? That's what I find so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to do a little Reiki for you today. So if you just want to close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths in and out and center your body. I just want you to imagine some beautiful white light coming down from above and through your head. And so entering the top of your head and going into your heart space. And you may notice that I rock or pivot when I do energy healing. So just imagine this beautiful white light penetrating your heart space. Opening and aligning. Bringing that true heart into essence. Creating a sacred opening. As you move down a little further, I want you to imagine the energy going down through your lower chakras, out your legs and your feet into Mother Earth. Connecting you fully and anchoring in your light into Mother Earth's light. So just let all your worries fade away as we bring that energy back up through all the layers of the earth, through your chakras, and entering again into your heart space. And I just want you to take a moment and sit there while Ann and I send Reiki to everybody that's watching today or everybody that's watching later. Just allow yourself to feel the energy coming through to you. So I'm feeling a lot of energy in my heart too. So you may feel it somewhere else as well. It doesn't necessarily be in your heart. Sometimes people feel it in their lower chakras as well. But just know that Reiki goes to where you need it.
A lot of energy in the head area too.
Feel like a lot of tingling at the top of my crown. And so it's interesting. I've been guided to do a heart healing activation on YouTube recently, so I'm gonna have to put that together. So just allow yourself to receive that again, and then after the video is done and after we're done sending, you can still receive the energy healing. It'll go as long as it needs to go, where it needs to go, and you can definitely watch this video again and come back to it. But take notice too how you feel afterwards, right? Take notice if you feel energy, where you feel it. I think the worst thing that occurs today in our world is that we're not in touch with our bodies.
Absolutely.
We're not in touch with feeling. We don't want to feel. So the more that we can be in touch with our physical body, because the physical body is the densest part of us. You know, we have the mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, but the physical body is the most dense part of our body.
Right.
So pay attention to how you feel when you're receiving and when you're doing things or being around people, whatever it is.
And then if you do feel something that you're feeling, and ask yourself why you're feeling that.
Right.
I think a lot of people, we reach out to find out why we're feeling that instead of looking within ourselves. And sometimes when I ask people that, and I ask them to ask themselves the questions, I always tell them to just kind of lean back and see what comes to them.
Yes.
So, why am I feeling this? Lean back and it will come to you, right?
Yeah.
Like
I usually put my hands on my heart, or I say,
So,
body, mind, or soul, what do you need today?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
whatever comes to me, I try not to fight it. And I try to honor it, because
Right.
sometimes it's like, well, you need not to work today. Okay, well, today's not the day. I have a boatload of clients. Today's not the day. But, try to honor it as much as, because your body, your mind, and your soul does know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They are your higher compass. They know what you need more than what you need.
Right.
So if you're feeling that, or you hear water, make sure you go drink some water. Whatever it is, that's for you.
Right. I totally agree with that. You've got to ask yourself. And the only way to ask yourself too is quiet yourself too. Just quiet, turn off the radio, just tune out all the outside noise and just really pay attention to yourself. And I think that's the hardest part for anybody, is just tuning out everything else around us, all that chatter.
Yes.
And then once you learn how to do that, and then once you start doing that more, I think you start realizing it's okay to be alone too. I think a lot of people have problems with being
afraid
alone.
to be alone.
Yeah, so I think the more you start doing that, quieting the chatter, being with yourself more, you'll start being liking being just with yourself more too.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to share some of Anne's links to her website, and we're going to be working on getting her YouTube up and running, because that is at the request of Anthony Joseph.
It is.
And so I hope you look forward to come back again and seeing us. And Anne and I are going to be doing a lot more work together.
Yes, we are. Yes.
If you liked it, just like our video and share it out. It will be really helpful. So thank you.
Thank you.